Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Coast News. And as always, got some amazing news from different theme parks, rides, attractions and events all over the world. So let's get straight into the news today. Our top story for tonight, Hyperia will officially open at Thorpe Park on the 24th of May 2024. And we've been waiting for this day, for this announcement for so long. And now we finally know when we will be able to ride Hyperia at Thorpe Park. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically Hyperia is a brand new Mack Rides hypercoaster which is opening at Thorpe Park, obviously on the 24th of May this year. And when it does open on the 24th of May this year, it's going to take the record for the UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster. And it's going to be absolutely insane. Obviously the guy designing it, John Burton, says it's going to be the tallest, the fastest, and it's also going to deliver the most weightless ride experience as well, so the ride with the most like air time and hang time. And it looks like it's going to as well, even though it's not a long ride. Like the elements on it look like they're going to provide a lot of insane forces like air time and hang time. Like honestly, it looks so much fun as well. Like this ride, it's going to be absolutely, it's going to change everything in the UK in the roller coaster industry, and it's going to be absolutely crazy when it does open. Obviously, we knew that it wasn't going to be ready by opening day at all. Like, obviously, judging by when the construction started, because vertical construction did not start until, I think, late September. No, I think it was like start of October last year when vertical construction fully started. Yeah, because it started during Fright Nights, and obviously by the end of Fright Nights and by the end of the season, the most part of the ride that they had built was the Outer Bank Dive, and obviously they finished vertical construction earlier this month with the topping off of the ride's insane 236 foot tall lift hill, which was actually obviously the crest of the lift hill was actually made up of 3 pieces of track altogether, weighing a total of 14 tons, which is absolutely crazy. And obviously they lifted it into place. There was like a huge gathering of enthusiasts on Monk's Walk. Because this ride is being built on the edge of Thorpe Park, basically right next to Monk's Walk, which is obviously a public pathway that you can walk on. You can see Thorpe Park from basically sort of like, not backstage areas, but like you can see it from unique angles from outside the park. And obviously, so a lot of people gathered there to witness the topping off of Hyperia. So obviously now that we knew that vertical construction had finished, we knew that it weren't going to be long until we saw the ride's trains, we saw it testing and eventually opening. And they've officially confirmed that it's officially opening on the 24th of May this year. So like just under 2 months until it opens. It's going to be absolutely crazy, and I can't wait for Hyperia to open. In other news today, Voltron at Europa-Park is officially going to open on the 26th of April 2024. Now this ride has been in the works for quite a long time now, and it's actually kind of surreal to know that it's actually got an opening date now. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically Voltron is a brand new Mack Rides striker coaster which is opening at Europa-Park in April 2024, on the 26th of April obviously. Obviously it is the first ever striker coaster built by Mack Rides. Initially, for some reason, I thought it was a new version of their Big Dipper model, but it turns out it's actually a completely different ride type. It is its own different. It's similar to the Mack Big Dipper, but it's a lot more advanced. It's capable of a lot more unique and technologically advanced elements, things like turntables, switch tracks, launchers, all that kind of stuff. And obviously, it was obviously announced. Well, its name was officially announced last year as Voltron Nevera, powered by Rimac, which obviously I think it's a German car company. And the reason being because the ride's theme, it's themed around Nikola Tesla and his experiments with electricity. It is part of a brand new themed land, themed to Croatia. So obviously the whole theme of the rides has got like a very sort of electric sort of theme to it, which obviously makes sense because of the ride's theme and what it's based on. And the layout just looks so much fun, honestly, like the layout. And obviously they were building it throughout basically the whole of last year. Obviously they finished vertical construction, I think, the very end of last season. Obviously testing for the ride began, I think, in January or February January this year or February, sometime like that. And obviously recently actually had its first human riders on the ride. Obviously the first human riders on Voltron being the Mack family, because obviously the convenient thing about Voltron and the whole of Europa-Park is obviously Europa-Park is actually owned by the Mack family and Mack rides itself. So obviously it means that any rides that they build that is owned by them, any like ride models that they build, it's kind of easier to sort of like get actually any like projects built, if you know what I mean. Because obviously it's a park that's building a ride model that they created, that they obviously own in the park that they own. So obviously because obviously it's literally their own theme park, so they have like a strong connection with it as well. So obviously the Mack family had their first, they were the first human riders on it, and then obviously a few weeks later they confirmed it is officially opening on 26th of April this year. So obviously when it does open, the anticipation is going to be absolutely wild, and it's going to be absolutely amazing when Voltron does open at Europa-Park. Also in the news today, the opening date for Minifigure Speedway at Legoland Windsor has been delayed until the 6th of April this year. Now this is some very unexpected news. We did not know this was going to happen. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically Minifigure Speedway is a brand new roller coaster, or pair of roller coasters, opening at Legoland Windsor on the 6th of April this year. And I'd say it's a pair of roller coasters because obviously it is two dueling Sierra boomerang coasters, which was obviously the fact that it's being built by Sierra was unexpected because we all thought initially, because it was a boomerang coaster, we all thought it was going to be built by Vekoma. But now it's actually being built and constructed, manufactured by Sierra. Obviously it is a pair of dueling boomerang coasters. Obviously it's themed around racing and obviously motorsports and things like that, hence the Minifigure Speedway. And obviously it is one of 4 major coasters opening in the UK this year. The other ones obviously being Nemesis Reborn, which has already opened, Hyperia, which is opening on the 24th of May, and the currently unnamed Intamin Family Lift and Launch Coaster, opening as part of the brand new Frontier Falls area at Drayton Manor, which actually opened earlier this month on 24th of March, but that doesn't have a known opening date yet, and doesn't have a name either, so that's literally the last one we don't really know any details about. But obviously Minifigure Speedway, they had announced at the start of this month when they began testing the ride, that it was actually going to open on the 29th of March, which is actually today, this Friday, today, when this video has been uploaded. And obviously they said it was going to be ready to go for the 29th of March. Obviously the ride had been testing for a few weeks, all the theming's been installed. But then they announced on their social medias that due to technical delays of unforeseen circumstances, the opening date for Minifigure Speedway has been delayed until the 6th of April, which I think is about a week from now. So I think it's 6th of April, or I think just over a week from now, 6th of April, Minifigure Speedway will officially open. It was supposed to open today, but obviously because of some kind of technical issue that we're not aware of, it's been delayed until the 6th of April. But obviously that means it still won't be that long until it opens. It's only like, I think about a week or so until it does open. So it won't be long until it opens. When it does open, it'll be the fastest roller coaster at Legoland Windsor, reaching a top speed of I think 38 miles an hour. So obviously when you compare to other coasters in the UK, that's not really that fast, but it's pretty big for Legoland, obviously considering that they're a family theme park aimed mainly towards small children. But either way, Minifigure Speedway is going to be really good when it does open at Legoland Windsor. And finally in the news today, Fire in the Hole is officially opening at Silver Dollar City on the 30th of March this year. And this ride has got some really big shoes to fill when it does open, but I'm really looking forward to when it does open. But if you know what I'm talking about, basically Fire in the Hole is a brand new RMC family coaster, an indoor family coaster, opening at Silver Dollar City on the 30th of March, which obviously at the time of recording is actually tomorrow. Obviously this coming Saturday, which is tomorrow, so obviously by the time the next coast news comes around, I'll report on the ride's opening day for that. Obviously it is replacing, well I say it's replacing, but it's sort of taking the sort of title from the original Fire in the Hole, which was a built in-house roller coaster that opened in I think 1974. And obviously that was like, it's got the new ride that's being built, it's got the same name, same theme, same layout, but it's being built by RMC. It's going to have a lot more modern sort of special effects and theming. Obviously, the rides that originally was Fire and Hole, the original one, opened in the 1970s, and obviously it operated until last year, when it closed on literally the 31st of December last year, because obviously Silver Dot Still is, I think it's a year-round park. So obviously they closed it on New Year's Eve last year. Obviously it had been sort of built up, the fact that it's closed it all season long, because they knew it was a fan favourite attraction. It was one of the classic attractions at Silver Dollar City. And when they announced it were closing, there were so many people who wanted to get their final rides on it. Like, honestly, the reactions to it were insane. But obviously they were announced later that year that they are actually building a brand new Fire in the Hole, with obviously, like I said earlier, the exact same layout, same name, but built by RMC and sort of updated theming and special effects. Still going to be an indoor attraction. I think it's being built in a different location though, because obviously it was being built whilst the original Fire in the Hole was still operating. So I think it's being built in a brand new location, completely fresh and brand new. And obviously they have announced it is actually opening tomorrow on the 30th of March. And obviously that means that pretty much all construction is done for the attraction. Obviously, I think recently they actually held the first sort of human riders on the rides. So obviously that means people have actually been on this thing now, which means it is definitely ready to go. And let's hoping it actually does really good, because obviously, like I said earlier at the start of this segment, it's got some big shoes to fill from the original Fire in the Hole, which was a fan favourite. I left a lasting legacy on Silver Dollar City. But either way, I think it's going to be really amazing when it does open tomorrow, and I can't wait for Fire in the Hole to open at Silver Dollar City. So that is it for this week's episode of Coast News. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, then please make sure to like and subscribe, and comment if you like. See you in the next video. Goodbye.